Welcome to this 1900 start for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic, and we're picking up on the 11th of April 1924. And in this part, what I want to do is shift the focus up to our new town area up in the top left-hand corner of the map. But before that, I just want to give you an update of where we are, because this area is getting to a certain point of stability, but we're still going to have to kind of keep growing it out and preparing it for our next level of expansion, which will be to go out and provide support to this area. Now, I've been thinking a little bit about this, and I think I might rework this a little bit with respect to the fact that we've now got this area up and running. Now, one potential problem I'm going to accumulate is the fact that as this area ramps up, because at the moment we're only running on one coal mine with a fairly erratic workforce by the quick, because I don't think we've still really got a major workforce to get out to here, because one of the problems I'm having at the moment is balancing between these two. And you can see here where we're kind of not really getting as many people into this area as possible. That's the reason why we're building out the accommodation this way. Our oil refinery is going a little bit better. You can see we have got surplus oil in here. Now, one thing I was asked about was this, or why I only built a small oil pump here. And it comes down to the fact that if I'd built a big one here, we would have probably ended up importing loads of oil, which this oil refinery probably couldn't process. You can see it can only do 50 tons of oil per day. And we are getting a reasonable amount of oil from here. So the idea of this is just to provide a top-up reserve, not try and drive the whole economy going forward. So that's the reason why I only built a small oil storage here, because this is not going to be, you could say, the major source of fuel in going forward. And I think this is one of the things you need to consider when you are actually building up an economy from a very early start, even if you start in 1920. And part of the problem is that what you've got here is old-fashioned technology, and you can't really go all out with respect to kind of producing goods with this lower tech technology, simply because the more advanced technology doesn't come available until, where is it? It's modern industry. I think it comes with respect to down here. Where is it? It's here somewhere. It's this one here. So we don't get modern industry until 1958. So really, when you're building before 1958, you're never really going to get that maximum level, which is what you'd be looking for. But I think you can get enough to go forward. I mean, there is an argument that you could possibly rebuild mines and all that and increase production over time. Now, another issue that is growing, and this relates also to a question I got, is construction waste. Now, construction waste can become the curse of an extensive mining industry, simply because whenever you're mining, you are actually producing construction waste. Here. Now, you can get separation into construction waste, as you can see here, because a big proportion is there. But one thing that's very important to understand is that the actual separation process isn't 100%. And that's the reason why, if you look in here, it says construction waste greater than 0%. That means that mixed in with this mixed waste is between 0 and 5% construction waste. And so you don't get 100% pure things. Where's that traffic jam? Oh, it's just queuing up at the field. And that's something that you do need to be aware of. At the moment, this is not a problem with an economy the size of, well, less than 10,000. And it won't be a major problem until your population starts to get above 50,000, because then those small amounts will multiply across the whole process. And it's also here, if you look in here, you can see that even despite that we've got 20% construction waste separation there, we've got 20% in here. And that, and again, this is an example of what can happen. And that's the reason why I've got contamination in here. And well, what's left? I don't think I need you anymore now. And this is the reason why periodically I empty out this dump here, because ash does decay naturally, but the purer the ash that you can get is the more chance that you will have a higher decomposition rate. Now, as somebody pointed out in the comments, ash decomposition is not good enough for long-term waste processing. Again, we've only got a small incinerator, and this one is actually I think it's the pre-industrial one again, isn't it? Yeah, we got the pre-industrial incinerator here. You see, when we go up to the next level, the small one does 30 tons of mixed waste, and then eventually you've got this one that do 58 tons of waste. Now, just to give you a tip, once you get above 50,000, especially when you move towards 60,000, if you've got a really strong economy with lots of mining and lots of things going on, eventually you're going to have to build a centralized waste processing plant, and you will probably need 2 large incinerators, both pushing out basically burning 58 tons of mixed waste. And that's when you've got to really start separating out your waste. Also, a kind of big sub game which will come once you get, again, I'm emphasizing this is when you get over 50,000, is this recycling. Now, at the beginning of the game, recycling doesn't seem particularly that important, but later on, this recycling will actually contribute towards your economy, especially plastic recycling. At the moment, plastic recycling isn't worth the effort. If we can get this guy to come in and deliver something, and I'll see if I can show it to you. See, at the moment, you've got the amount of plastic that's coming out of our industries is 0 point something. But one of the curiosities is, and I don't know if this is deliberate, but one thing I have noticed, that when you get into the more modern age, the amount of plastic that gets recycled from domestic areas starts to slowly increase. It doesn't increase by that much, but you seem to get a lot more plastic coming out from these modern buildings as the economy moves forward. So again, plastic at the moment is not worth separating if we could, but eventually that separation will start to kind of be a little bit more useful, and that plastic can then be turned in, plastic waste can then be turned into real plastic. And one tip I will give you is that when you start producing electronics, that tiny little bit of plastic from recycling can be a major contributor towards producing electrical components. So that means that if you've got your electrical component manufacturer close to a plastics recycling plant, now I'm saying that would be for a big region, that would then produce enough electrical components if you can deliver the steel. But then again, if you've got steel recycling close to, say, a vehicle recycling, you're starting to be able to produce a small level of electrical components over time. And then, of course, what that can do is then feed into the electronics assembly plant, which also needs plastic. So, and in one of my games, I managed to get quite a good electrical component electronics subsystem going, and it was running almost exclusively on recycled material. So again, this is an element that the game that you will need to consider once you're getting really large amounts. Now back to construction waste. What I want to do here eventually is build a aggregate store here that will collect the construction waste from here and here, and then we're going to connect it to the railway so that we'll be able to export the construction waste directly from this area using trains. Now, one tip I will say is that if you are going to move construction waste by train, do not use the waste dumps. Do not use these claw dumps, even though technically they can be set to a kind of mixed waste. When you move construction waste, it also applies to metallic waste, and if you're going to move it in quantity, always use the aggregate stores. It can cause a complication with the drop-off because you've got to use dumpers to deliver to the aggregate store. But what it will do is it will actually but what it will do is it will improve the loading, and more importantly, it will improve the unloading here, because waste is notoriously very slow when you drop it off at the border by train. So if you've got, say, like this area starts to become busy, the last thing you want in here is some waste train unloading, because that will actually delay the whole process. So that's something else that you need to consider. The best way to get rid of waste, is somebody pointed out in the comments, is that there is a waste barge and there's also a waste dock loading, and the best way is to ship it out by sea. In fact, but shipping becomes very important when you move some of these really slow loads, especially the aggregates. It's also a very good way to actually ship stuff around. Anyway, let's just go and see what's going on up here. You can see we've got our guys working on this area here. We've now got this infrastructure here. We've got the, did I put the pipeline in here? What I want to do now is start to plan our kind of waste processing. Now, I am going to plan this so that we can actually get waste and fresh water up to here as well. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know how big this city is going to build. It could probably get quite big. So what I'm going to do is, we're going to, let's have a look at the, wow, this area is very, very flat. This could be a problem. Let me just see if I, how, in some ways this area is too flat. Okay, I think what we'll do is we'll put a sewage switch about there. We go under. This might not act. Oh, this is. Oh, we've got small pipes, haven't we? Okay, what? Is that small or medium? That's the medium pipe, right? What we're going to do is, I'm not going to put a. I'm not going to put a connection out to there, not to begin with, because if this becomes quite a big industry, which it could do, it might be easier just to run the waste line out this way. And by then, what's this? This is prefab panel construction. Because we're now at a point in the game where you've got to start thinking about when is the research going to become available, so that you can actually do it. Prefab panel 1941. So we got a few years to go, but it's not that far. So maybe running the sewage down to here isn't such a good idea, because the pipes are probably too small. Okay, so we can. So what I'm going to do is we're going to change tack. Now, one nice thing about sewage disposal pipes is the fact that one of the kind of interesting things of sewage disposal pipes is the fact that the height difference doesn't apply to buildings. So if I put you across to there, actually, I think I'd like to put water into there. So what we might need to do is we'll split this each way. So if I put you there, we will put a temporary mud thing there. Yeah, I think if I separate this out between two, right, that kind of covers most of that area. And then I think if we put another one, say in the center there, that will give a little bit of overlap against excess demand. And then we go underground and we run you there. I think that would be good enough for the start. That will kind of give us the main coverage. Then we can run out that way should we need it. Now the next thing we're going to need to do is put in water. My instinct is I have the water down here. Actually, I think what I will do, oops, that's a bridge. What am I doing? Where did that come from? I think we will do that. I think we'll just run this road all the way down into here just to make it neat and tidy. And it will mean that what we can do is put the water where's the nearest accommodation? We've got accommodation here, we've got a bridge here. We will most likely build out this way. Let me just see. Oh, somebody did mention about that brick roads are more aesthetic than actual asphalt footpaths, and I actually agree with that. And so maybe we will keep the focus more on brick. I think what we will do is we'll put the water out here because we've got the bridge over there which will feed into there, and I think this will be a relatively clean area. Again, we're going to need to consider waste, so we'll most probably do exactly the same as what we did in the other town, as we'll put the waste management here. So I think we will put some small accommodation here. So I think we can put the water process treatment plant here. This is 132. This is 240. Question is, do I want to go to chemicals straight away? I must admit, I've always been very reluctant to go to chemicals from the get-go. But on the positive side, this would be big enough to, I could say, supply the water up that direction. But then again, there's also part of me that says you shouldn't mix industrial water supply with residential, especially if you're going to grow the town. I think we will do this. We'll build this. We will move towards chemicals. So we'll do that. The problem now is going to be the fact that to supply 240 kind of cubic meters of water to this, we're going to need a fairly big pump. We're not going to surface intake. We've got a big well here, but this also needs a workforce. So and I don't like my workforce. Must admit, I'm generally very adverse to, how can you say? I'm normally very adverse to actually, kind of, having to put a workforce into a well. I generally, this is going against everything that I normally do, but we're going to give it a go. We got 93% water supply there. Yeah, why not? Let's just give it a go. If you don't experiment, you can't change your old habits. Right, we've got a footpath there, so eventually what we'll do is we'll probably build, just make sure that comes out. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably build a brick footpath, kind of build it to there, and then what we can do is hook it to there and take it across there once this is built. I think that will work. I think we'll start pushing out the range here. Let's say at the moment we're just going to let these guys run free reign. I think what we will do is bring in some more dumpers. I mean, at this time, it would have been the steam traction engines that would have done the heavy haulage, because early diesel engines of the time would not have been very strong. So again, if you kind of look back into history, the vehicles doing the really heavy haulage were the steam traction engines. So we'll get 1, 2, more, 3 more of those, I think, just to speed up the process. Because at the moment we've kind of not really doing anything at the moment. What's this? This is probably bring in some open holes. I think for open holes we will use the Russo bolt open holes. I think the ammos are, see, let's have a quick look. Now, see, this is still by far the best. We could bring in the steam haulers, 6 tons, 5 tons. These are marginally faster. I think we'll use this one, so we'll get some more of those come in. Oh, great. And of course, this is the curse, that these vehicles will wear out. I mean, if they basically, what we'll do is, because there's no maintenance here, these vehicles will eventually run out. This is the curse of when you build a second town where you can't service the vehicles. What I've done in the past is I've built a road across, but this map doesn't really lend itself to it because there's rivers in the way. So what we're going to probably have to do is we're just going to have to run the vehicles into the ground, and then we'll probably have to sell them off, actually, because it's not like we're short of money. So anyway, while that's going on, we're going to come back over here, because I am working on, is that built now? Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to demolish this, because I made a bit of a mistake here. That might be a problem, actually. Let me just cancel all this. I think that's what I want to do, is demolish this area here. Right, that demolishes that. But what we're going to have to do is get underground very quickly and cancel that. That's better. That was a little bit fiddly. The reason I'm clearing this and I've put the underground cable in is that what I'm going to do is put the construction waste collection point in this area here. Okay, so we're now building these in. Meat's becoming an issue. What we should do now is get electricity problem. Where's that? Accidentally hooked those as well. That should fix the power supply. Again. Yeah, demolition in this game can be very, very tricky. If you're not careful. I think that should be it. Just make sure I haven't accidentally demolished anybody else. Okay, we should be okay. Yeah, so what we're going to do is demolish that, put in our construction waste pickup, probably from this rail line here. And as I say, we are expanding out here. Yeah, we're kind of getting a little bit of a population boost here, but we should be getting more workers flowing out to here now. Yeah, we're not really getting enough in the coal mine here at the moment to be effective. We're going to need to get more population into this area. So let me just see. I think we will. Can we get some more kind of bigger residential blocks in here? We'll leave some space for some more jade. In fact, we'll work from this end. I think we can kind of go there. Maybe we'll go 3 blocks up like that. And what that will do is give us a connection into his area. I always forget this. And we will, I think we will go back to a brick footpath all the way through there. Let's make sure the road crew picks it up. Yep. We'll build the brick footpath through there. I mean, it's not like we're going to be paying for bricks now because we got 3 bricks over there. And then we connect these up, build them up a bit, and that will keep the town expansion going out that way. And we'll be okay. The other thing we're building here. What's going on here? Oh, I know what's gone wrong here. Is that I've built the wrong water tower. Okay, this water tower doesn't have actual water capacity. Okay, we're gonna have to remove you. Have to set you to high priority. And these guys are gonna have to come and demolish. It's not like it's urgent, but if they remove, yeah, it didn't take them long to remove this. Right, so what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to remove these signals. Take off a something like that. and we are going to have to put the signal, chain signal back in again, otherwise this won't work properly. We're going to have to find some way to get the construction train out here. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start with an unloading. We'll put truck unloading here. Now, someone did say that these aren't particularly that efficient, but they're efficient in the sense that compared to they can make connections. Now, the next thing we're going to have to do is build a dump, and for this type of stuff, what I like to do is only put in 1,000 tons, so that we don't build up excessive amounts of kind of waste. I'll put you there. Now the next thing we're going to need to put in is a train loading. Now we're not going to, I think it's this, no, it's way too big. Is what I want is a small one like that. I'll put you there. It's got to have a direct connection, because if it doesn't, it's not going to work properly with the rail distribution office. And then what we're going to do is run you, and then what we need to do is measure 100 and I think about 100 and I think we go to about there. We're going to put a crossover in. It's important that you take the length of the train from there to there. All right, the next thing we've got to do is somehow get there for this train to be able to kind of operate here. How are we going to do? Oh, we're going to need to make sure that. Okay, we're going to need to build the construction train into there. I think what we will do is we're going to change this to mixed, this to that there. You can, so the construction train can come into here on this line, and if it can go that way, it can go that way. But it needs to get down to here. So what we will have to do is make this into a mixed signal like that, something like that. I think that should work. This guy's out of work anyway, so that means we're going to have to start planning our rail expansion this way. I suppose I could start thinking about running out in this direction, but also part of me says that what we need to do is go this way, because we need to expand out this way with respect to our steel mill here. Okay, I've got distracted again with respect to this here, but this will remove our construction waste. To begin with, we'll sell it to the border, but eventually we will start to use it that way. Let me just check this. Yeah, I think what we're going to do now is large, gonna come there. Just make sure, yep. So to unload oil, we're going to set it to 50%, 60%. It may conflict with this. Is this actually on? Oh, we need to get coal here. Okay. We need this built. Let me just make sure who's working on this. Are you working on this? No, you're not. This is going to be my new coal distribution, because technically we're going to be getting the coal from over here. So what we're going to need to do is, I think we'll start with using this distribution office to actually ship and bring in the oil and coal. But eventually what we will do is move, not oil, we'll move to this one. But we need to get coal and water into here. Let me just see, is it going to be worth actually pumping water directly? Let me just see. We've got water to there. I should have put a switch in there so that we can get that to there. To be honest, I think that it'd be easier just to use trucks to deliver the water. It's not like the distance isn't that far, because we can pick up from there. In theory, there should be no need for waste disposal. I think we're just going to use trucks. So we're going to distribution office. We're just going to tuck in a small, what we call it here. Just tuck you in here, and just drop you off there. Is this empty? Yeah, this is empty, so we can demolish that. Move you. We don't need you anymore. We got proper gas stations. Ha! Confused him because we deleted the road connection. Where the gas station is over here. That's good. Right. Let me just see. We're going to here. I think we've now got a lot more trucks than we actually need. I think what we can do is we've got some open holes here. We've got some dumpers. I think it's time now to move to the next level of what we've got, which is dumpers. Of course, this won't. It should. Just make sure that we've got the right ones. Let me just see. All these were going to set for here, because we're going to standardize on the AC truck. Now, interestingly, if we have the road connection to the NATO bit over there, we could use automatic replacement on the other side of the map, but that won't work here. Right. We've also got the open holes. These are only 7.5 ton. So we're going to change the open holes now. Ooh, horrible. No, we've got a Russo bolt here that we can't use, which is this one, isn't it? This is the 7.5 ton. I think for the moment, what we'll do is we'll set this to replace. Open hole, please. Oh, this one won't let us replace it. Okay. Because it thinks it's a logging truck. That could be a problem. Right, these, where are you? We're gonna have to get rid of these manually. This is on the ground crew. I mean, technically we don't need these anyway, so yeah. Oh, these. No. Yep. We need these to move the. Oh, great. Yeah, we're going to be stuck with these heavy haulers until such time as we've got someone who can carry the heavy vehicles. So we're kind of trapped with those at the moment, whether we like it or not. Okay. That's a bit unfortunate. See, when it comes to open holes, we need one with a lot of carry capacity, one with not so much carry capacity. I think with the respect to the open holes at the moment, we're do that there. It'd be great if I could replace you with the covered holes. Yeah. So which one are we using here? The Mac AC. What are you? You're the 12-ton version. I want to set that up to replace those. The other thing I want to take a look at is fire trucks. We got this steam fire truck here, which was a bit of a mistake. We got the Russo Bolt one here, which will be around till 1924, but we can build that. But is there anything better? We got the ammo. You've got 50 kilometers an hour. Ammo F15. You'll be around until 1935. Actually, let's have a quick look. Put you into here. Don't know how much more space we've got in here. We've got some trucks. We've got no fire engines. We've got some. Yeah, we've kind of gone a little bit overboard with the truck production at the moment. Moment we're building the Russo Bolt. This is 43 kilometers an hour, 9. How much would it cost us for? Oops, no, wrong one. Sorry. Fire truck. We've got this ammo here, but it's only 5. The moment we're running the Russo Bolt, that's 9. We've got this one, which is 50. See, this is 46 kilometers. This is 57. And this is the ammo F15 fire truck, which I think at the moment we're not going to worry too much about that, because the Russo Bolt one, actually I think we I think what we'll do is we'll set this to ammo 15 for the moment, and then what we'll do is we'll standardize. We'll put you there, and we will set this up to build a couple of fire trucks in here. And what we can do is then store the surplus fire trucks in this area. Yeah. Okay. This guy is quite happily laying the track out here. This is being built. This is coming together quite nicely. And then eventually we can move this stuff here. We do need this built as well. Who's working on this? We need you working on that. You should be working on that now. Okay, you've got quite a lot of things to do, so actually we're like we haven't done the road connection. A little bit of an oversight on my part. Build that in. That should get the road crew out here. Now this road could get a little bit busy. I think what I will do is we'll build a road across there. Actually, no, cancel. We've got this these guys now picking up waste here. So we've got two of these working together. They should be more than enough to deal with the waste that's coming out of this area at the moment. Okay, so we're looking good. Anyway, I'm aware that I'm also running out of time on this video, so we're gonna flip back over to here. How are we doing here? I don't think I've got any buses here, have I? I think I put them in here to keep them out of the way so that I'm going to turn off the auto detect here and get rid of all this lot. I don't want anything being kind of taken to final conclusion just for the moment, so we're gonna, what I want to do is just keep pushing the base construction at the moment, and then what we will do is do what we've done before, is we need to build this in. I don't think I actually put the plumbing in, did I? We've got our well there. All right, let's get back just to finish off. We're going to put a large pumping station. We will need multiple pumps running. Actually, if I could fit that, oh, look at that, that's good. Slip you in there. And of course, the water side will not be quite so important. I'm going to go there so we can get a nice clean connection there. Of course, the pumping station is we're going to have to come out like that. The reason for that is that we may want to put another loop in there, and of course what we're going to have to do is kind of, we're going to have to come out the way. So we will need a large pumping station, probably just orientate it that way and run you into there. Put you into there. Then of course we'll put a water switch in, probably about there to begin with, and then that will need to be connected to there. We'll run one off of, oops, perhaps if I actually put the water substation in. Put the water substation there. And then we'll put the other water substation tuck you in there for the moment, as close to that as possible, and run you to there. So we got the beginnings of our town over here, and we've also got what we got to build out here. These probably will go out of use eventually, and they can be removed, because obviously we're going to need to push more out in this direction with respect to building roads, because we're going to need to keep expanding the town. What's up with you guys? Why are you not contributing to this? Oh, for some reason these guys. How are we doing? Yeah, we're kind of flatlining a little bit with respect to population, but that's okay. One thing we will need to do is put a monument over in our new town as well. I think while I'm thinking about it, we'll just go and put that in. So what? Now we are in the time of the Republic now. The Communist Party is in control. So what we will do is we will start moving now towards putting up the red stars. We'll put one kind of, where would we put one? I mean, this gives us it 415 meters, so in a way we need it in a, don't really want to block those off. I think we might be able to squish it in here. Yeah, I think if we kind of put it there, only needs a little mud footpath. I want to make sure we can take a footpath out of there. No, haha. We come in, yeah, we come in there. We can take a footpath out through there should we need it, which is going to be good enough. So we're going to have the red stars are going to start to appear now because the Communist Party is in charge. I think we will run that through there, and we will kind of make a bridge of connection there, bridge of connection there. This is now being connected. Right, what we're going to do, I know I said I was going to finish, but you don't do things like this when you're thinking about them. You will have problems. And that will get connected up. These will need to start. I say we're going to give them mud footpaths into there. What was that? What are you doing here? Oh, wow. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. I just love this game sometimes. Why can't I pick you up and okay, it's saying that this is full. What we got here? Oh, you're a waste of time anyway, so what happened there? I think I accidentally You go to there. Okay, we are on the point of a population collapse. Okay, we need an emergency depot. I've got a feeling it says that the depot's not available because it's what we call it. Okay, we've got vehicles here clogging up our entry point as well. We've got to get that maintenance building online. That's what's causing the havoc, because the vehicles are going there. What's up with this maintenance building then? Yeah, they're all full and it's causing issues. Okay. Oh, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. You pick up gravel. You deliver gravel there. Wait until unloaded. Right. Let me just get... where was that vehicle repair depot gone? Where was it? It's here, isn't it? Yeah, we got nothing being delivered here. What do you need? You need electric components, fabric. Who is delivering to here? This is going to be a bit of a botch fix, but import control. You, for the moment, deliver to there. 30%, where are you? Go on, get going. I'll sort out the actual detailed logistics of this later on. We just need to get this operational for the moment, just so that we can deal with the actual repairs, because at the moment the repairs are backing up because we're not really being able to repair this. So this is operating without issues, but of course what's going to happen now, this could be terminal. You can see here what's happening now. This is what can happen, is that the happiness is dropping. That means productivity is dropping. This is where you can get into a terminal tailspin if you're not careful. Because see, we've got maximum workers, but we're not providing... the amount of shoppers that we can have in here is now reached a problem. And that's going to cause massive problems over time. Where's that dumper gone? Where are you? Oh, helps if you actually tell it to do something. Haha. Okay. Where's the other one? I suppose he's still waiting to be repaired. And of course, what's going to happen now is it could break down. Yep, he's still sat in here waiting to be repaired. I just love this game sometimes. Go on. Save me. Save it. That's it. Haha, go on. Get into here. You can see the loyalty's falling as well now. Yes, I know happiness is too low. See, this is an example of how this game can catch you out. One very small problem, and then suddenly everything starts coming unraveled very quickly, especially when you've only got a kind of single town here. I mean, I know we got the counterweight over here with this town, which is okay because these people are coming into here, but the problem's going to be is the fact that this town is the one that's providing all the food and other logistics, so it could spiral over to that town, and if we're not very, very careful. You can see the happiness is 18% now. That means that the productivity in this area, you can see, is 30%. And that's also going to affect this here as well, because we're not going to produce enough water. And you can see here, despite the fact that we've got here, and we're losing population as well. I'm going to force... oops. Okay. I think we might be in... Well, the water's starting to fill up now. But it's going to take a long time to actually recover this now because our happiness is so low. You're at 17%. Anyway, guys, this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. What we will try and do is recover our population here, if over time. But this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.